Hey, all you beautiful people out there. Brian here for Work to Game, and today I wanted to talk to you about the Nintendo Switch conference and the Nintendo Switch in general. The Nintendo Switch conference was held just last week, and I really wanted to give it a week to kind of mull over um, kind of what they showed, what they didn't show, uh, get everybody's opinion. Just watching other YouTube channels, reading various articles about the device, and I wanted to kind of just come and give you just my raw thoughts. There's no script here today. Usually I like to have a script for an outline. Obviously I will be editing the video, so I guess if I get too rambly or ranty or um, I guess directionless, I'll go back and clean that up. So don't even know if that statement will make the final cut. But regardless, there's just been a lot of thoughts I've had over the last week about the Nintendo Switch, and I guess first things first is like I have pre-ordered. I did it through Best Buy. One of my friends from college, Kyle, he sent me a nice little link to help me kind of track down that pre-order because Amazon was already sold out by the time I got up that morning. And so all in all, I thought it was an easy experience. But it's been a week, and I'm just going and I'm thinking, am I excited? And the answer is not really. Like within a week already, I guess just the excitement that I had for the device has completely waned in the sense that, yes, I mean, not only have I pre ordered, Best Buy has already taken my money. Will I play it? Will I be excited to get it? I wouldn't see why not. I haven't had a Nintendo system outside of my 3DS for quite a long time, and so this has the potential for me to be able to play some games. And that's where I guess my hope for the Switch begins, is that they had these great games on the Wii U that are orphaned. They're stranded there. So obviously Mario Kart 8 is getting a deluxe version that has a battle mode, which I heard was the greatest complaint against the game when it was released. It was a great game, but now it's got more, and so it's coming to Switch. That's really exciting, especially because I didn't play Mario Kart 8. So from somebody who completely skipped Nintendo last generation from a home console perspective, this system has a lot of potential. And I don't think power is an issue. I don't think that they need to come out and be the a Xbox One portable, a PlayStation 4 portable, let alone a Scorpio or PlayStation 4 Pro edition console. I think that cost, that technology, that battery life they would really suffer. But I didn't see third party show up. Now, granted, I'm excited about Dragon Quest 10 and 11, which they announced. Don't know if 10's making its way over to the United States, but I'm sure 11 will. So it's exciting to see that that is an option. I would assume that's going to come out day and date with the PlayStation 4, but that's an assumption. They have Square Enix, announced a Project Octopath Traveler. Visually, that looks incredible, stunning. Absolutely going to check it out. Question I have is, great. Is that even going to be exclusive to the Switch? I really hope it is, but that's a risk by Square, especially considering Nintendo's track history coming off the Wii U. Now, the Wii at the same time was a huge success, so you have that kind of argument, but I would say that third party hasn't done well on Nintendo platforms because Nintendo hasn't offered them the tools or the ability necessary to succeed. So, since, in my opinion, the Wii, Nintendo machines have been for Nintendo games. I look at Super Nintendo and 64 and even GameCube, and I remember picking up several third party titles. Since the Wii, and then I skipped Wii U, they've been primarily Nintendo consoles. The third party, in my opinion, has moved on to PlayStation and Xbox because, from a development cost perspective, from a delivery, from a market share perspective, that's where people play games. I don't, necessarily play Call of Duty, but no Call of Duty announcement at the Switch was loud. I don't necessarily expect them to announce Destiny 2 for the Switch, but not having any type of gameplay that way seems telling. I don't expect that Overwatch come to the system, but the fact that it wasn't there, I think if you look over, I guess the last 5 or 6 years, third party has become so much more viable. Say what you will about the PlayStation, I don't think their first party offerings, especially, have been that amazing. Yes, they do have great games, but a lot of them don't speak to me personally. I play third party games on my PlayStation, and I think they know that. And so they've made this ecosystem that's advantageous for that. And so you see games like Destiny and Overwatch dominate playstyle. It's on PC, it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, but where is it in relation to the Switch? I think that should be concerning. I hope I'm completely wrong. I think that maybe, there's a great potential that the Switch has to bring in these new play experiences. But from a business perspective, from a sheer business perspective, it's not really going to happen. Just like with the PlayStation 3 versus the Xbox 360, the Cell chip was this proprietary processor that could really do a lot of hard work, and so they could make games look even better than they could on the 360. But developers weren't going to spend the $300,000 to $400,000 to do that. They're just going to port their game because it makes viable business sense. They're going to spend their investment on making the game in the first place, and then they're going to take it to the two different devices. So in the case of PlayStation and Xbox, there's this parallel, even more so this generation. Now we can absolutely have, a debate or discussion, about those kind of points regarding, third party. But I think essentially what we learned from this event, at least I can speculate off this with a bit of confidence, that we're not going to see Final Fantasy XIV on the Switch, nor as players of Final Fantasy XIV would we want to. We're not going to see Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch. We're not going to see Final Fantasy 16 on the Switch. We're not going to see, all of these games that you're going to be excited about, that you're going to see this E3 and next E3 coming to Xbox, coming to PlayStation, make their way to the Switch. Because the Switch sounds like, at least from a technology perspective, is a little bit more powerful than a Wii U, and a Wii U is a little bit more powerful than a PlayStation 3. So where does this fall in? Like, for anybody who was hoping that the Switch would be a primary console for them, I hope you're still right. I hope you're going to see and get what you need out of that. It's, from all case and points, from the hardware perspective, I hear it's phenomenal. I'm very excited. I can't wait to get my hands on the one that I pre-ordered, and hopefully then my enthusiasm will take a turn for the better for it. I think, getting to play Zelda is going to be great. So those are just some of the concerns that I have, regarding third party in the games. Like, I think that from, looking at it from an optimist's point of view, and looking at, like, obviously the 3DS, Nintendo's handheld business and their experience there, they've cultivated a world in which there are these just great games for their portable device. And the Switch is that, right? The Switch is this culmination of their portable and their home console market coming together, a unified, focused Nintendo for the purposes of that. And thus, it might be this great world in which that we see these great games come together. I think that there's going to be some challenges for sure, and obviously we'll see what it looks like this time next year. We'll see what they announce at E3. We'll see what the content roadmap is. I think the best thing Nintendo has for it is to grow the install base as quickly as possible, and to do so with a library of great games. And that's what I'm excited to see and learn more about. I'm more excited to see about the ability to play games with my friends, to come together and play these games that I missed on the Wii U. Now, they haven't announced that they're porting over everything from the Wii U, and so that, for me, is kind of concerning, but they have these great games, and I'm just imagining that the next 12 months, if every month there was just this great Nintendo game that came out on the Switch, people like me who did not pick up the Wii U that's going to be very tempting for them. Imagine to see, here's the Switch's version of Smash Brothers. Here's the Switch's version of Super Mario 3D World. Oh, we've got Super Mario Odyssey. It's like every month we see that a cadence that I think is going to help drive the installer base, and then that's going to help attract a third party to either bring their games that they're bringing elsewhere, but if the technology isn't powerful enough, to be able to create really exciting, good and exciting games for the system. And so, there is hope there. Like Octopath Traveler, is that a game that can, work on the Switch? You look at the 3DS and you see Bravely Default. I'm a huge fan of that series. And, yet I would love to have that home console experience with it. I would love to play it with the traditional controller at times, and being able to play it on the go and to go from there seems interesting and exciting to me from that perspective. So there is hope, there is this potential, but it's on Nintendo to prove that this is a device that you have to have. And I think they can do that with their library. But again, right now, from the looks of it, this is going to be a first-party Nintendo game system for me, and I don't think that has the life within it. It makes me yearn, and I've talked about this before, it makes me wish that I could play Mario Kart with my friends on a network architecture that is stable, easy to connect to, and go from there. And then this is where, and this is going to end up being more of a rant video, unfortunately. This is where I have some serious concerns. I want to talk about that. Nintendo showed off a kind of a video about their parental controls, and it's being able to manage it from your cell phone. And I thought that was fantastic, and it actually has me excited. So starting off on the positive foot, when they talk about having an app that's going to help you manage your friends list and connect into games, well, I have a cell phone. Okay, great. That that if it works somewhat like they previewed the parental controls to work, where things are happening on my screen, but I'm able to manage it from my phone, that's great. I do the same thing with my Xbox 360 and the Xbox app. But if I'm not able to manage it from the device itself, that just seems like this misstep. That seems like I'm I'm now required to have a cell phone, a iPhone or an Android, to be able to fully utilize the features of my Switch. And that in and of itself makes the Nintendo Switch the most expensive portable or home console system out there to date. So not only from the $300 for the system, games, and then the accessories if you need to pick up any of them. I'm not upset about the price of the accessories at all. Like, it is what it is. I think, Xbox still makes the better controller, but I'm willing to give them a shot here. But if I have to now have a cell phone, which, yes, you may be able to get a cheap one, but let's assume you were like, all right, I'm going to go get an iPhone, or, you already have one, most likely. But that iPhone costs you thousands of dollars, especially a year. When you factor in the cost of the phone, when you factor in the service plan that you have for it, you're going to be looking at an expensive device. Yes, you already have it, but if Nintendo is relying on it completely 100%, for those who don't, that's a huge barrier for entry. That's Nintendo being Nintendo when it comes to online. Now, I'm actually very happy to hear that they're going to be charging for online play. And so I was actually, you get what you pay for. Nintendo's online for the 3DS, obviously, and then for the Wii U, from what I hear, it was just awful. People, you have lag, you have issues connecting. It's, they have the friend code system. It's really was just this, I guess baked into their DNA. They've been afraid of online gaming for so long that it's very difficult for them to come around. So I'm happy to hear that they're actually going to be charging for it, because if it's going to be worth it, they need to make it worth it, and they need to make it worth the cost. I have no idea about this video game rental. It seems like they're trying to do something that PlayStation and Xbox have long since figured out, but they're going to do it Nintendo's way, and I just, I think it leaves a bad feeling in people's mouths. Okay, so whatever. Hopefully when they show off, we're able to get together and play. So the first game in my mind that I'm going to be excited and hopefully going to be able to play online is Mario Kart 8 Battle Mode. Going to hopefully be able to play that with Chris. So we'll be able to give, I guess, a real full impression of that at that time. Do we have to continue? Do we use Discord? Is it literally something where it goes, hey, we're going to play a Switch game, everybody file into Discord? which is a great and fantastic app. It just seems like it's this broken process for somebody who's not actively involved. So outside of the internet architecture and who knows what else, until we really get our hands on, until they really show us more, it is what it is. And I'm not going to necessarily dock it too much. So we talked about third party. We talked about their online. It makes me think, are they really aware of what's out there and being offered, or are they living in this tone deaf tunnel of time? There's been articles, I saw Polygon posted on it, like, yeah, they're going to continue to support the 3DS, but that there might be another 3DS in the future. And when they're saying that kind of thing, it just sounds like that it's Nintendo's third pillar approach when they announced the DS. They're going to say, yeah, we're not going to abandon the Game Boy. We're going to have this as a third pillar. And it was so successful that, of course, they abandoned the Game Boy. There was no reason to go back. This kind of sounds like, well, if the Switch doesn't take off, we're still going to, here's your new 3DS. And that is disconcerting. Here's your 4DS or whatever, figure out what they want to call that. I think, and hopefully that their initiative from games and their push really is Switch based, but obviously in the chance that it doesn't take off like they want it to, well then maybe that's their backup plan. But my personal hope, and I've said this before, and people will argue like, oh, they'll never go third party, but it is this sense of they should, if this does not bring them on par, let's say that this isn't a success and they don't sell millions and millions of units like they want to, and I would want them to, but let's say it's another Wii U. Like, do they get the message at that point? Do they say, okay, great, we're going to compete with Sony and Microsoft now, so that way we can bring in third party? Or are they going to say, you know what, let's go ahead and do our thing with mobile, with a handheld, and let's bring our game library to these two platforms and make a lot of money. That's kind of my hope. I don't know. Now, it's so weird because it's like I want them to succeed. I want the Switch to be successful, and at the same time, I'm conflicted, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to be playing third-party games on it that are on the Xbox and the PlayStation, if they even have those, because that's where my friends are. That's where the online infrastructure is. That's where the DRM and everything is. Just it speaks to me as a gamer and as somebody who likes those systems and those controllers, and I've already made that investment. So I have a hard time thinking that there's they haven't shown me anything that is going to have me go and say, I am making a huge investment into this platform. My investment comes with, I'm going to buy the system, I'm going to pick up Zelda, I'm going to pick up Mario Kart. I'm actually interested in checking out Splatoon 2. In my mind, that's just them, bringing over Splatoon and adding features, just like with Deluxe, Mario Kart Deluxe 8. I'm obviously going to be excited about Odyssey, and then any kind of, eShop games and things like that. So there is going to be an investment that's going to be made, but I don't see myself making that huge upfront initial cost. And that's just ties into the into the cost of the system in and of itself. You look at it, and I look at it and say, well, I mean, when you break down it by parts, the Nintendo Switch, sits at the console itself is like $100. When you look at the whole package and you look at what they're charging for all those different pieces, the Switch console itself is $100. I'm interested in what you think. Obviously, I do a lot of posting about Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 15. I'm a big fan of the series. I'm, couldn't be more excited. I can't wait to learn more about this Octopath Traveler project that they're working on. I really liked I Am Setsuka. It's like I'm a fan of Square Enix, and so I'm interested in seeing what they're able to do with the system. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, Dragon Quest 11. I'm interested to see how that looks. So there's a great possibility there that this is going to be a great system for that, and so I'm rooting for them. I think Nintendo can do a lot. I think that there's a lot that we can continue to have the discussion, and as we learn more about it, I'm sure I'm going to be talking to you guys about it and giving you guys hands-on opinion about the device, which I paid for. So, somebody who's spending their own money on a product, hopefully I will be able to come to you and say this is definitely worth your time, or at least taking a second look at. I hope that that's the message that I can bring you in March, and so we'll see. So we'll see. So with that, I want to conclude with asking you guys what you thought of the presentation. Did you pre-order a Switch? Are you going to wait until maybe this holiday season when you can find one with a bundle with the new Mario or Mario Kart or something like that? What has you excited about the Switch? Did the conference sell you on picking one up? Are you sold? Are you on the fence? Or are you somebody who has just written Nintendo off completely? Obviously, if you're watching this video, there is some slight interest. And if you're still watching to this point, I'm interested in what you think and what you think Nintendo could do to win over my enthusiasm, win over the enthusiasm of gamers out there. But have they figured out online? Are they going to make it? Is it going to make sense? Is it going to be easy for us to connect and play together in this online world? And obviously, are they going to figure out YouTube? If we have to, if we have to review a game, if we're going to review a game and not show footage of it so that we can monetize it, like, are they going to get on board with that? Or are we going to have to consider applying for whatever their partnership is so they can take a fee from the video itself? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm also disappointed. I'm conflicted. A lot of emotions, obviously, from a lapsed Nintendo fan who's getting back in, I guess, one more time. I wouldn't venture to say last, because I am a sucker for video games. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. This is Work to Game. My name's Brian. This is my Nintendo Raw thoughts. I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but it is what it is. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. If not, I can completely understand you not hitting the like button, hitting maybe the dislike button. I hope you subscribe if you haven't unsubscribed already after all of this. And I hope to see you in my next video. So until then, I hope you have a great day and take care.